The sheriff got pulled away to a news conference, as did Captain Strangfield. So for everyone in the room who doesn't know me, I'm Captain Jeff Smith, and so I'm appearing on their behalf.
Okay. Well, maybe you could answer some questions for us. The Sheriff's Department or various representatives have asked us to consider adding a curfew to our emergency ordinance. And at this point, the Board of County Commissioners would just check the box. And then the sheriff's, can you tell us what the sheriff envisions?
Yeah, so if I could hopefully elaborate and give you guys some information, so it helps in helping you make your decision on that. So yeah, the reason we're asking for a curfew, and we would probably liken that to the time of the noise ordinance to be implemented around 10 p.m. overnight. There are lots of confirmed reports of looting, mostly in the outlying areas, Estacada, Colton, Moala, Sandy, mostly in the outlying areas. Lots of looting has been taking place, burglaries and whatnot. There's reports of, and this is not specific to an area, but all over the county, both outlying and even closer into town, of people of extremist groups staging gas cans for later destruction. And equally concerning is there are reports of people from other extremist groups. It's not confirmed Antifa, but suspected Antifa. This is more specific to the Estacada area. Reports and sightings of people armed with chainsaws. And the goal was to fall telephone poles in hopes of starting further fires. And that's all the information I have at this point.
All right, so anybody Sonia?
I'm not sure I understand when you say staging gas cans. Could you get a little more information about that?
Well, specifically staging full gas cans in sort of concealed type areas to later be used by themselves or other members of their groups to initiate, the starting of further fires.
Yeah, but this is some media thing. I mean, it hasn't been confirmed, so.
No, that part is not, but the Antifa part, there have been reliable sightings and reports, not confirmed, but I mean, it's pretty specific, being armed with chainsaws, falling telephone poles in the hopes of starting further fires. And the looting, burglaries in the outlying areas all over Clackamas County is definitely confirmed.
Yeah. All right, so we've agreed. I mean, it's been moved to second, it checked the box. And
hey, Chair Bernard, can I ask another question?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. So if this is happening, is there coordination with any other state or federal law enforcement in regards to these acts to increase resources? Or is that necessary?
I can't confirm any coordination with any federal law enforcement sources because I think most of them have been deployed downtown Portland. But I can tell you that here in our sheriff's EOC, we actually have a member of the state police here in our section with us.
Paul?
So after hearing that from Captain Smith here, I'm inclined, Jim, we got to make an appeal to the governor to call in the National Guard. I think that's critical information. That is very unsettling. There's not enough law enforcement resources in the sheriff's department to handle all that. And I think that I'm fine with the curfew countywide now, more so than I was 15 minutes ago. But for crying out loud, we can't allow a deliberate attack on property and people's lives and just somehow leave the National Guard out there, sitting at home waiting for the call.
I'd be happy to call the governor.
Yeah, can I just ask a clarifying question? Because I want to make sure we aren't over exaggerating the situation. I think law enforcement has the best handle on when we would need to call in reinforcements or call in for the National Guard. So could you give us some insight onto that?
So I'm here speaking on behalf of the sheriff, but I would not want to decide on his behalf. So I'd prefer that he weigh in on that call to the governor specifically. I'd hate to make that call on his behalf.
Okay, so I would suggest as a commission that we hold off on calling the governor for that ask. We want to make sure it's a real ask if we're going to ask it, and we make sure we have confirmation from the sheriff that we need that. Or maybe we just say we're concerned and we want you to know, and we want the National Guard on standby if necessary.
So I guess my question is, how do we confirm that this is antifa? I mean, you said that you've got it from reliable sources. You haven't captured anybody. What's a real solid way to confirm this? Because I think that's the tipping point. And right now we've all been thinking, oh, well, they're just rumors, but now we're hearing maybe not.
Yeah, Commissioner, I know this came from a sergeant on the street, but I don't know who his informants are at this time.
Okay, but we'll really have to know that for sure, because if that's true, then we don't want to have another layer of panic going out there.
Right. Well, I could probably take that issue of contacting the National Guard off of your guys' plate and hand it to the sheriff for a time when we have better information.
Okay.
But for now, and I guess the purpose of this call was more for me to weigh in on whether or not you guys should authorize the curfew, and it sounds like you're inclined to do so. And so maybe at this time we could hold our conversation to that, and I could defer the latter part of the conversation to the sheriff when he's available.
All right, so are we ready for Sonia? Your hand's still up.
Thanks, Chair Bernard. Yes, I do. I have one more question. I just wanted to clarify one of my concern. Oh, the Clackamas County Sheriff is calling me right now. Hello? Hello?
Wrong number.
Oh, it's an emergency alert. Okay, so that was my emergency alert to evacuate Oregon City. Sorry about that. That came from the Clackamas County Sheriff. The issue, and I'm tied in, I'm sure we all are, with our connections in the outlying areas of Clackamas County, but it's not only is this Antifa, but it's people's perception that there's a threat. And so we have very strong members of our community that believe in protection of life, property, and we could have some unrest, which we need to have be measuring the pulse of that in our community. So it's beyond a specific group.
All right, we're all getting alerts. So are we ready to be polled?
Yes.